like a different community, and your bus leaders are the catalyst to that community. They're the ones that set the tone for how it's going to operate, how it's going to be done, what the duties are, and how they expect you to fulfill that duty. These are just 30,000-foot view of what a bus leader does. The medical team members are charged with the care. Dang it. There we go. The PowerPoint doesn't do that. The medical team is in charge of all of the care and well-being of the veterans, the Rosies, and the assistants. They assist the bus leaders in emergencies that may happen on the road and the overall well-being of everybody on the trip. Our medics and our bus leaders work very, very well together. I had them in here from 9 to 11, and we went over the stuff that we need to refresh on and some of the new things that are going on. As you are on your bus, you will note the way the bus leaders and the medics work together. My head medic on my bus, I've known him for a long time. Just if I'm not there, the other bus leader is busy, he falls right into place and does whatever needs to happen. The medical team, if a medical team member asks you to do something, consider that to be a request from a bus leader. And sometimes some people get a little bit put off by that, but the bus leaders and the medics work hand in hand to make sure that the well-being of everybody on a trip is where it needs to be. Now we get to you guys. And this is a long list. You're there to assist the veteran, provide anything that the veteran needs, provided that it's legal, moral, and ethical. And trust me, you get with a bunch of old veterans, there are going to be some questions from time to time, and you look at them and go, "No, I can't do that, sir. Thank you very much. How would you like some candy bar and some water? Thank you." As long as we can provide that service to that veteran, we will do anything we can to accommodate. But you guys will probably be the first ones to understand their needs. And if you don't know that you can do that, then you come to your bus leader and we'll figure out if we can and if we should. And I guess that's a good combination. Assistance will be evaluated by the bus leaders on veteran interaction, veteran assistance while on the bus, transporting the veterans to their rooms and meals. You will also be evaluated on your interactions with veteran staff, your completion of assigned tasks, and your general attitude. This is new. We've been doing it, but I haven't said anything when we talk to the new assistants. We're doing something now for every level. We're doing it for medics, we're doing it for bus leaders, we're doing it for assistants, and the veterans are going to be able to evaluate us on their overall experience. And instead of just sending out an email, what do you think? We're doing SurveyMonkey this year. We started in with that, and we're going to send that out. And right after the trip, we're going to hit send, and it's going to go out to everybody. So you guys with SurveyMonkey are going to be able to evaluate your experience, evaluate your bus leaders, and we're going to keep everybody accountable. We want to make sure that we're providing the best trip that we can for the veterans and their families, and that's a big part. We're a big family, but those 200 veterans that we're taking their families, maybe physically not on the trip, but you believe you me, and I'll get into it later about social media. They know everything that's going on back home. Some of these guys are pretty good with FaceSpace, MySpace, whatever the hell it is. It's I make a joke about it, but some of these guys are very computer literate and they know how to do it. And we have some rules that I'll get into later about that.
still has an 8-track.
I wish, because I do have some tapes. I got nothing to play them. Yeah, perfect. All right. The humor is great. This is not a vacation. This is not a vacation. We have had instances where assistants come with one of their family members and they just think it is time to relax with dad or mom. This is not the way it is. This is going to be the best vacation that you ever pay for, because it's going to be the hardest vacation you ever pay for, because there's a lot of work, and it's not physical work always. You are going to be challenged mentally taking care of these veterans. We have 3 psychologists that are going on the trip with us, and one of them spoke at our last meeting about some of the things that they experienced last year with the group. The group that we're taking is going to be more Vietnam vets than we've ever had. Vietnam was not like World War I. It was not like World War II. It's similar to Korea, but these guys saw some real junk. And they have not opened up about it. This is the group that will get more closure than the World War II guys. They need this closure. I'd start talking about the wall, but I'll start crying, so I can't do that. But it is not a vacation. Their care and needs are the main reason you have volunteered and your main concern while you're on this trip. Each assistant is going to have 2 veterans and will be responsible for their needs on the entire trip. Okay. It sounds like a lot of work, but really it flows. And you can ask any one of the assistants that have been here more than a couple of years, and there's quite a few in the room. Once you're assigned your veterans, it just kind of flows. I know if any of you are familiar with Stars and Stripes, which I'm sure most everybody is, they have a 1-to-1 ratio. They don't stay overnight. They fly out, they come back. We have to make sure with 2 veterans, get them up to the room, get their luggage in the room, make sure they have all everything, their medical supplies. You are basically in charge of what they take to the room and how they get it there. And it sounds like a lot of work, but once you do it the first time, and you just ask anybody on a trip, they'll help you. And you get to know the guys. And Fred, you got all your stuff? I don't know. Well, come on. And you start in with that veteran, and you start making a bond with them. By the end of the trip, it's very easy. It just flows. But you are responsible for all of their needs. If you're traveling with a family member or friend, you may also have 2 veterans assigned to you. So that statement, say your father is with, you're still going to have 1 more person assigned to you. So you have your family member and another, and they're going to be in the same room. So if you have 2 people, they're going to be in the same room. It's not like you got to take 1 to this room and 1 to that room. We work it out in pairs. The bus leader gets the pairs of veterans. Then we just assign an assistant to each. And if it's one of your family members, well, you obviously would be with your family member. Dress code. Over a few years, in the earlier years, we had some girls that thought it would be really cool to take and cut their shirt off here, cut it down to here, and it was a learning experience. I'm going to put it that way. We learned that some of the veterans liked it. Most of them, there were quite a few that were offended by that. We put a dress code in. Dress with your guests in mind. All bus leaders and assistants and medical personnel will always be appropriately dressed. Provided t-shirts must be worn each day except on Monument Day, when you're provided a polo shirt in yours. Tom, stand up if you would, please. Stand up if you would, please. That I did. You just didn't hear it. That is the shirt that you will be provided. Tom and I have a history. We can't go into it, but we have a history. That's the shirt that you'll be provided, and we ask that you wear that. You wear that on Tuesday when we go to the monuments. Reason for that is we want to know where the assistants are. Bus leaders are going to be in red. Med team is going to be in orange. So we kind of color code ourselves. So when we're out, you get by the Lincoln Memorial, by the reflecting pool in Korea and Vietnam, it's a big space. You know, and if you're just wearing a regular t-shirt that says Harley, Suzuki, something on the back of it, we're not going to know who you are. So if we see green pushing a wheelchair, we know who you are. So it's important. Jeans or khakis will be in good condition without holes or tears. Now that's tough. When you spend $140 at a store that looks like somebody shot them with a 12 gauge, and they're cool, you know. Again, if the jeans are naturally worn and tattered, that's a no bueno. If they're designed that way, yeah, we'd rather you be in khakis or just regular shorts, and we want to look professional. All shirts and jackets, no alterations, no sleeves cut. No, we don't want my midriff showing. We're going to leave that. We're going to leave the shirts the way you were given. Dress and portray a casual yet professional image to the guests. Again, it isn't very often that you go down the road and you see 10 coach buses that are all decorated the same, that got a big badger on the side of them. Believe me, when we go down the road, people pay attention. So the people coming out of those buses, especially the leaders, need to take a little bit of pride in what we're doing. I did the bottom one. Wear your green shirt at the monuments. This is where I get to be grumpy a little bit. We're going to be professional. We are going to have a good attitude. And I know by Tuesday night, you've been gone since Sunday morning and you're pushing wheelchairs around. And if you're of legal age to drink, there's going to be a real big urge to sit down and have a cocktail and listen to some of the guys' stories. And let me tell you, that is where a lot of the closure happens for these guys. They have one or two glasses of truth serum and stuff just starts flowing out of their brain. And you won't hear the bad stuff. You'll only hear the funny stuff about what they did to their buddy, you know, how they short sheeted the bed, or Lindsay's laughing back there because I know she's got a couple stories. But we absolutely cannot have a beverage at the bar. They want to buy you a Diet Coke, have at it. That is what you want to do. You want to sit with these veterans and you want them to feel comfortable, so they start to release. So they start to get the closure that they're looking for. And they are looking for it. They don't know it till they get on that bus. And once they get on that bus, then it goes, they get it. Just getting them on the bus. You're going to assist with wheelchair loading and unloading. Now, mind you, you're going to be sick of looking at wheelchairs, because we take TJ, what are we, 13 on each bus, and then a bunch of extras. Yeah. Now, wheelchairs, it's a very tender subject with some of these guys. Don't ask them if they want you need a wheelchair. Don't ask them if they need it. You walk up to them with a wheelchair and go, "Hey, you want to ride?" And if they say no, "Well, I do. Would you push me?" And it breaks the ice, and it will get them to sit down in the wheelchair. When they get on that bus on Sunday, they're gonna be walking around like this. By Tuesday, after we get done at the monuments, they are going to be so tired. You'll see it. And you have to pay attention to it, because some of them will go down real slow. Some of them will crash. They'll just go like this, and it's like, I'm done. Now we get a ride for them. Okay. So you guys, it's important with the wheelchairs that you understand how to ask them if they want them. Some of them will go, yeah, oh hell yeah, I'll take one. But some of them you almost got to grab them and have them understand what's going on. Wheelchair loading and unloading. There's another portion to that, and I recommend that you go on the VetsRoll website. There is a wheelchair safety video on there on how to use a wheelchair. I'm not going to get into it here. We'd be here till 5 o'clock. So go on the website and take a look at the video. It'll answer a lot of questions. The biggest ones, if you're going through a door and there's a door jam, don't push it forward, pull it backwards, because those little wheels will get stuck, and you'll dump the individual right out of the wheelchair. If you're going up and down a ramp, push them up and back them down. You don't ever want to have the wheelchair pointed down the hill. You lose grip. Here we go. Now we're chasing after a guy going down a ramp. So that's all covered in that video. I recommend you go on there and look. Passing out snacks and drinks. Your bus leader is going to organize that. Again, every bus is a different community. I run my bus different than Lindsay runs their bus, and they're all run under a certain guideline. But everybody adds a little something to the overall umbrella. Our bus is chaos. It really is, because we pick on each other. We will, the 5 people that I have coming back, we've been together a long time. We know what we're thinking about doing. There's really not a lot of communication. It's just, we're at this time of the trip, we got to get snacks ready. We're at this time, we're going to be offloading in Lafayette, Indiana for breakfast on Sunday. We have to make sure we do this, and this. And we don't have to even talk about it. We know how to do it. And other buses are the same way, but in a different way. So when you get on whatever bus you're assigned to, your leaders will pick people to do certain things. One that we talked about this morning, the amount of snacks and water and beverages that we have is amazing. I mean, we got trailers full of the stuff. But if a bus is running out of something, instead of going and buying it, what we're doing is we're going to have a beverage and snack coordinator on each bus is going to get together with Gail Hobb. Gail, stand up. You did not get introduced. Gail Hobb is her nickname. Her real name is Bev Snacks, because she's in charge of procuring all the beverages and all the snacks and all the fruit and all the stuff that gets passed out on the trip. So we're going to have an assistant from each bus. You might get lucky enough, it might be you. We're going to have a group chat that at the end of every day, when the veterans are off and we go back out to clean the buses, we need this, we need this, we need this. It's going to go to Gail. Gail's going to organize who has what, and we're going to move stuff around. And it's a huge undertaking, but it's one that if we don't do correctly, the service for the veterans is not going to be where we want it to be. So just kind of some of the stuff that we do. Pick up trash while we're on the trip. Just like a flight attendant, you walk down the aisle with a garbage bag. Anybody got any garbage? You know, and just little stuff like that. But there are some things that are safety involved. And this is big. Cleaning and assist with cleaning and sanitizing the bus, wiping down handrails, overhead grab rails and stuff. With what happened with COVID, we learned a couple of things on the next trip that we went in the fall. We wiped down everything. When the veterans are off and eating and we're done eating, we come back out and we completely sanitize the bus. We wipe down every surface, the seats, the armrests, all of the rails up on that they walk along. All of that gets disinfected, and then we go back and we spray disinfect the entire bus. Another thing that we do is when the veteran, and I'm probably gonna see this later, but I'm running with it. When a veteran comes out of the bathroom, everybody gets hand sanitizer. An assistant is gonna go in there and completely wipe that bathroom down again. Every time someone comes out of that bathroom, it gets wiped down. And we have found over the last couple of years by doing that, the reports of people being ill after the trip have been minimal. So it's one of the things that we have adopted that is very, very important. I'll get to it. I know where you're going. See, he's like my brother I never had. He's talking for me. I'm just a puppet. Restocking of the coolers with drinks and ice. Stuff doesn't go in there by itself. So we have to, your bus leader is going to assign people to clean the bus. Might not be the same people as the ones that get a hold of Bev and restock the coolers with ice. Ice will be provided every morning or evening, depending on how the schedule goes. It will be laid at the door of the bus. You'll get 5 bags of ice, and if you need water, it will come from the trailer or Walmart. It will be provided to you in the morning. I will be down by the buses at 4 o'clock or whatever time, make sure all the buses are open so you guys can get in there and do your thing. If we can get you the ice the night before, it's generally better. It's cool at night. Put the stuff in there. It's nice and cold in the morning if you need something right out of the gate. So that's another duty that you may be asked to do. Oh, there's more. Pass out pillows and blankets and umbrellas. They get blankets that are donated. They get pillows that are donated. Every veteran gets one. Pass those out. We like to pass those out right away, so we don't have more stuff to do as we go down the road. Umbrellas, obviously, if it rains. We've been relatively lucky with the weather the last few years. Hopefully it remains that way, but we do have Vets Roll umbrellas that go out with them in DC. Storing and retrieving items overhead. We've had 7-foot tall guys, and we've had Rosie the riveters that are that tall. Why am I looking at you, Jen? It's a habit. I can't break it. I'm sorry. But if they ask for something, I would rather have an assistant standing up while we're going down the road, pulling stuff out of the overhead compartments than having some 90-year-old frail veteran who can barely walk standing as we're going down. And the Ohio Turnpike is not glass smooth. I mean, we would rather have you guys doing that kind of stuff. This one is absolutely the most important. Actually, it's the second most important safety item we have, and I'm a safety Nazi. If it isn't safe, we're not doing it. These guys got to go to the bathroom, and we're going down the highway. How many have never been on a coach bus? Okay. And you're one of the only ones that has ever done that. The bus, when it goes down the road, it's like this, and it rolls and it rocks and it goes back and forth. Now we're doing 70 miles an hour in a coach bus, and you're walking this way, and the bathroom is that way. Okay. Obviously the driver's here. He hits the brakes. That individual is going to go down the aisle. So what we do, we have one in the front and one behind the veteran. And it's not behind the veteran, it's behind the veteran. And I can speak from experience, had it happen. And I was my back was to the driver. My back was to the driver. And he hit the binders. And I had a 260-pound veteran. I had a hold of the seats. I didn't hit the ground, but I wasn't standing either. He would have, if we weren't paying attention, he would have ended up on the floor. And the aisles on these buses are not very, I can't walk this way down the aisle. I have to kind of get my jelly like this and go. But if they fall, it is not going to be an easy thing to get them back up. We have this one we're very strict on. If a veteran stands up, or however you have them do it, they hold their hand up or they ask someone, I got to go to the bathroom, there better be two people taking them to the bathroom and back. It can save somebody's life. Be at the bus with your veteran before loading time. I am also the on-time police. Getting this wonderful man on the road at the prescribed time is my mission. Mr. Finnegan, where I am, just getting out of the shower. Cool, we're leaving. That's never happened. Well, yet.
Yeah.
And I make light of it, but we are on a schedule. We have certain distances that we have to cover in a prescribed period of time. I will be on the bus leaders to make sure that everybody is down to the bus, all the luggage is accounted for, and we have to build in time in case something happens that's unforeseen. So if you're not 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. We want your veterans down. Remember that. Oh, I'll get it. What that means is I'm talking too much. Listen, James. Oh no. Easy now. That's one of my side gigs. I coach football too, so it's we have to be on time, because if we aren't, if we start out late in the morning, literally getting to dinner on time at night is in jeopardy. So if your bus leader says to be at the bus at 4:59, be there 10 minutes early. Make sure that your veterans are taken care of. Make sure everything is handled. Their luggage is accounted for in the morning. So Monday morning and Wednesday morning, getting the luggage down is extremely important. Those are travel days. We got to be on the road. So just make sure that their stuff is down.
4:59 is not a general number like 5 o'clock. We are very, very specific. 5:14 a.m., not 5:50, 5:59, whatever. Those aren't just numbers we throw out there. We mean it because it's incredible when you think of it. It's a 15-hour travel day, and we'll be within 1 or 2 minutes of arriving and departing all day long.
Yep.
It's critical to stay on time.
And just remember, this trip is for closure, and they can't have closure if you don't talk to them. If they don't talk, visit with the veterans, not just the two that you're assigned to. Talk to everybody. When you're out at a monument, when you're in the museum in Dayton, looking at all these fabulous warbirds, you see a guy that's staring at like Memphis Belle, most famous B-17 in World War II, standing there, he's looking at it. Walk up to the man and go, what do you think? They're going to start talking. And it's amazing, some of the stuff. He'll be looking at that plane because I was the ball turret gunner. And he's, in his mind, he's back he's back in that war or he's back in that plane. I mean, it's an incredible experience. Off the bus, assist the veterans by pushing their wheelchair. And I went into, hey, you want to ride? Make sure they feel comfortable when you ask them if they need a ride. And if they say no, don't pressure them. But if you see something, use your intuition. If you see that they're walking like I do when I get out of bed in the morning, stick around with them, especially if you have an empty wheelchair, even if they're not on your bus. Because we do have a lot of ambulatory veterans that are just, they're like cats. You roll them out of a burlap bag and they just scatter. But we're still gonna take those wheelchairs to all the monuments, to the museum. We're gonna take them, and if you see somebody that's struggling, hey, I'm here. You want to ride? I'll push you around. Let's go. You know, just because they're not on your bus doesn't mean we don't take care of them. Another big one, and this is one that Mark is, I know he's going to say a couple words on this one. Curbs and sidewalks. You know, maybe steal your thunder. We get to the World War II monument. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to paint the curb the same color as the street. They're the same color. There's no differentiation in the color. So, and my dad first year did this. He's walking along and it all looks like this carpet, but he steps off the curb.
The World War II memorial, of all places.
Yep. It just, so we are very, very big on curb watching. And we don't mean watch the curb, watch the veterans around the curb. And a good example is Lafayette, Indiana, when we stop for breakfast in the morning, the buses will all be parked along the front of the church. And it's nice because there's enough room where you can stand on the street and literally watch the curb. But these guys are walking around, they're just in awe of what they're experiencing. They really are. On the first morning, we're 5 hours out, and these guys are just deer in the headlights. We gotta be their eyes. We also gotta be their ears. So if you see any curbs that isn't covered, and I mean like every 10 feet is plenty, you know, and all you got to do is say, "Sir, watch the curb, ma'am, curb coming." However you want to address the veterans as you get into the trip, you're going to start knowing their names, their nickname, and you're going to be calling them by their nickname. But pay attention for them because they're not paying attention. They're looking out. And hell, half of these guys haven't been away from their wife in so long. They're just like, hey, let's go. Is what it is. Assist at restaurants and hotels, restroom use, getting meals and drinks. Make sure the veteran is taken care of first, then take care of yourself. Okay. We go to this church in Lafayette. They have a huge buffet that they put on for us. It's phenomenal. The whole gym floor is covered with a tarp, and it's buffet lines. And we serve the veteran. We take the food to the veteran. We take the drinks to the veteran. They don't do any of that. That's all your responsibility. But make sure that they get what they need. And I look at it this way: we got a lot of beverages and a lot of snacks on the bus that you guys can go help yourself. Have an energy bar and some water, some juice, and you'll survive. It's the veterans come first. Veterans do not touch luggage, period. Veterans also do not push wheelchairs, period. We've had guys that, well, I'm healthy. No, yeah, you may be healthy enough, but you're a veteran. You're not touching that wheelchair. You know, and it's imperative. There's a lot of different reasons, but this is their trip. They shouldn't be working on their trip. Okay, they do not. If we don't take the luggage up, the hotel staff will take the luggage up. Your responsibility, when you take them up to their room with their room keys, you will ensure that those room keys work, and you will ensure that every piece of luggage that is in there belongs to them. And you're going to ask them, is this all you have? Just to make sure. After the first day, you'll know what they have and what they don't have. Hey, Fred, where's your CPAP? Oh, I left it on a bus. Okay. So then now we know we have to go and get it. But you are responsible. We do give out cards that have it's a visual checklist that you will put in your lanyard. You take it out. Yep. Got all of that. All the safety stuff. Don't use the deadbolt lock. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at you.
It's in my lanyard.
Look at that. Okay, and I without Bev, we're nothing. Okay, when you're in the room, luggage, hearing aids, glasses, cell phones and chargers, batteries, canes, all of that. Do you have your medication, your CPAP? If they have an O2 issue, they need oxygen. I mean, you will ask them if they got what they need. If not, then you get a hold of your medical staff. Leave the deadbolt unlocked, because if we have to get in there, medical reason, it's huge. And then those things that flop over onto that little knobby thing on the door, don't use those either, because we got a bunch of firemen that are on a trip. Oh, we'll get in there, but it's gonna cost us something, but we'll go in to save a life. It's not that we won't, but we don't want to go there. On the other side is going to be the time schedule. When you got to get up, when breakfast starts, when the buses leave. So you'll have this. I do believe we made them. Didn't we make them last year for everybody, for the veterans too? So yeah, we got to edit this one. The times are always a couple minutes off. And again, a couple minutes mean everything. But this will be in your lanyard. So when you take them up, he says, what time do we got to be up in the morning? Up. Oh, okay. Well, here we go. We can look at it. It is up to you to make sure that they are up on time. Because we've had issues at hotels where, well, we'll get a wake up call, and the wake up call never comes. Okay. So you have to be up. You have to be up a half hour at least and ready to go before they have to get up to knock on their door to make sure that they are out of bed, dressed, and if they do need a shower, let them know that they need a shower. Because it's important, because we have had some that it's been bad. And personal hygiene, we ask that you be very polite about it. Hey, did you take a shower this morning? We've got time if you want. However you want to address that. And if it becomes an issue and they aren't catching on, then go to your bus leader, and the bus leader will handle that. If that doesn't work, then I'll grab a bar of soap. We'll go. It'll be one of those things that will get done. But be polite on how you go there. Direct the veterans to entrances and destinations. Again, going into a restaurant, if just come on this way, Pete. Food's over here. Old guys, they always find food. It's pretty easy. Room and welfare checks is something that does normally fall under the medical team's rules. But if you know that there's a veteran that's got a cold, he just hasn't been feeling good, before you think they're tucking in for the night, go up, just knock on the door. Hey, you guys got everything? Do you need anything? Is there any, did you take your medication for your cold, that kind of thing? And don't be afraid to interact with them about needs, because these guys are very proud. They're proud and they're away from their bride. And that can be a very dangerous combination, because now I'm out on my own. I'm going to do what I want. And a lot of times the medications and that kind of stuff get forgotten because they're not thinking about it. So don't be afraid to interact with them that way. I think I kind of went over some of this. Yep. You. Maybe. Depends if it's about me or not. Okay.
I've had this experience before, but if you do
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're, at home used to being not closed. So
Yeah.
if they happen to, if you knock on the door, they open, it's just their underwear, or maybe not their underwear, just ask them to shut the door, go put on clothes, and then you can go talk to them. But
Yeah.
just
Well,
be aware that
the
it
other
does happen.
thing you can do is just hold on to the doorknob so they can't open the door and go, ta-da, you know.
I want to expand on that a little bit.
Go ahead.
Maybe you'll hit it later, but for you female assistants, don't be into a veteran's room without the door being open or propped open. Okay, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Thank you. I need that. Okay, supplies and snacks. I've gone over that already. Restroom fundamentals. Yeah. Again, anybody comes out of that restroom on the bus, it gets cleaned. We wipe out down all the contact surfaces, and if we have to spray disinfect, we spray disinfect. It's getting there. Yeah. I have a line that I'll use when we're doing the vets orientation. Please sit down because we'll know that you haven't. And on our bus, we have signs. So if I'm looking at this and I'm going to the bathroom, I'm not sitting, and it's gonna, we have visuals in there too. And then you can tell them all you want, but they're not. A lot of times they're not gonna sit down.
My son's watching this online right now. He drives a semi.
Hey, Justin.
He said special care for I-70 between Indianapolis and Dayton, because that road is
Terrible.
it's like just unbelievable. So yeah, special care on I-70. Very good.
Okay, and I did discuss this hand sanitizer for everybody that comes out of there, just to make sure. We don't know if they're using the stuff that's in there, so we're gonna double dip it. Even if they did on the inside, we're gonna double dip and we're gonna give them a little bit more. If their hands get all cracked because they're drying out, they'll be at home and we won't have to worry about it. Yes, sir. They should be in the box. Steve.
When you give a veteran hand sanitizer, when you do this, not to hang on to anything, and then when they start moving their hands around, keep extra caution with them as soon as they come out.
Yep.
If they're gonna try to do something that just, that's the worst moment when they step out and walk
Yes.
down the road.
Because they're not holding on to anything. Right. Yep.
You touched on, air fresheners and stuff. Every bus is gonna have a supply box. In the supply box are those things provided. Also in there is a sheet, this, everything.
Yep.
If you do not have it, get a hold of me or Beverly, and we'll get to it.
I'm gonna have to call you air freshener now too.
All kinds of things.
Okay. Moving on.
And Mark, one more thing about bathrooms.
Yeah, go ahead.
These memorials, some of those bathrooms are free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we get at any rest stop, any rest stop, trips 8 or 10 years ago, we used to go into like Cracker Barrel, and what was that other one we went to? The bathrooms were really, really small, really tight. And a couple of the rest stops we go, that's it, yeah. And then they're small. We got a lot of people. It's May. It could be raining outside, or it could just be sunny, but it is going to be humid in these bathrooms. It's going to be terrible. Humidity causes things to sweat. The floor gets really slippery. Okay, and the museum in Dayton too it's really tight in there, and that floor gets slippery as well. Make sure that you have some male attendants in there that are just kind of hanging around, just to make sure that guys are not moving too fast. They're not turning quick, because if you put your foot down and you're turning quick, you could go down in a heartbeat. It's something that we have to pay very close attention to. But that's a great point. Thank you. This is where I think I'm going to let Mark talk about conversations and monitoring conversations. And yeah, please. You do it so passionately. It's good.
And we have 4 major tenets, is what we'll call them, with Vets Roll. And these are part of the philosophy of why Vets Roll is so successful. There's 4 things we do not allow on the trip, especially with the veteran community. And as Mark was saying, a lot of these guys are kind of unfiltered. You know, they've been around a long time. They've been there, done that. But the 4 main ones would be: we do not talk of sex or sexual content conversations, sexual jokes, anything like that. Kind of going what I was just mentioning to Jen, or to Jen's comment, especially for you female, if you ever feel uncomfortable with the conversations or in the environment or something, feel free to steer it the other way, or go ahead and get one of the male people on the bus to address the fact, because this is, if you couldn't say it to your grandma, you don't say it on the bus. Basically, that's kind of it. Second would be, we don't talk race. We just steer clear of race talk or comments or anything like that, because we have people that come from every persuasion on these trips. And kind of linked to that, no talk of religion. Not everyone's a Christian, and just, you know, kind of keep that in mind. We don't allow we don't allow religious talk. But number 1, I almost tipped you off. What do you think number 1 is? Politics. This country is so divided right now, so hateful, and yet we have proven it time and time and time again. With Vets Roll, there's no political talk, there's no political headwear, no political clothing, nothing. And if they want to test it, we're glad to take them to Dulles Airport and fly them home. That's how adamant we are about this, because when we leave on Sunday morning at
14.
You've been reading your papers. When we leave at 5:14 a.m. on Sunday, we are a huge family, okay? And politics could tear that family apart like it could your own family. All of you are familiar with this. So by the time we get back on Wednesday night at 9, close. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, I think last year we were a minute late.
Wasn't my fault. We were late. It wasn't my fault.
It rained. It monsooned on us. No, when we roll in on Wednesday and the hoopla, it's going to be over the top here at Harlan, because even though we're basically a Beloit group, this is where the heart, the pulse of Vets Roll is down in the Rockford area here. When they see this display we're going to have with all the fire departments, police, and motorcycles bringing us in from out on I-90, the big ladder trucks with the garrison flags down, literally thousands of people, if the weather is decent, thousands of people on the streets coming in here. We have a huge fireworks show that goes off, and I'll touch on that in just a minute. It's just, it just is going to fill them up with pride. See, I can feel myself getting emotional. The Vietnam veterans, as you have mentioned, were just treated like crap for 50 years. The country turned their back on them. We basically took it out on the warriors, not on the ones that created the situation. The Vietnam veterans, they need to know they served as admirably as any military unit in the history of this country. Mm-hmm. And just don't forget that. And you can give them a hug. You just let them know we've got your back. We've got your six. And when they get here to this school, it is going to be so emotional that at the end of the night, I'm going to remind them, do you remember you just went 4 days without talking politics? Because by that time, they've forgotten. They're all still friends. Mm-hmm. Thursday, they might hate each other again, but Wednesday, and it works. It's just magical. I don't know. 17 years, I still get emotional talking about it. Lisa.
Before you give somebody a hug, ask them.
Yes, good point, good point. Yeah, yeah.
You got the best intention, even if you're facing them, you want to go give them a hug, some of them just, they're going to back off.
Yeah.
Ask them first.
Yeah. And to kind of go off of that a little bit, I mentioned the fireworks. Now, everyone's aware, you know, PTSD is a true mental, physical trauma that a lot of people deal with. what we do with our vets roll trip, and we notify them on the way back, there will be a fireworks show. But what we do is and I just did it a couple days ago with the fireworks company. We don't do any what you call ground pounders, the big boomers, the ones that shake the earth on 4th of July. We don't do any of the bright white explosions, the bombs, right? It's a celebratory, and this is the 250th anniversary of the country coming up. So this year, the emphasis is going to be on red, white, and blue kind of celebratory fireworks. And it'll go on, it'll actually start while we're still out here on Highway 173, and they'll be able to see it because it goes up so high. And as we come into the parking lot, now last year we had a full moon when we pulled in, too.
Yeah, it was
it was
cool.
just perfect in between the rain clouds, but it was a full moon. But anyway, when we come in, it'll be so charged. I mean, it's what this country needs. We need to get our crap together and there's two flags. There's the American flag and the POW flag. That's the only two federal flags there are. And that's what we're celebrating are those two flags. So, all right, go get them, buddy.
Thanks. Okay, with that, as Mark said, some of these guys are going to say a lot of things about a lot of people, a lot of things, and they're going to tell you what they think. Their conversations and comments are not what we now consider politically correct. And if you do overhear a conversation, even though it's quiet, just calmly walk up and say, "Hey, remember, we don't talk any politics." And we had a problem with that last year that was dealt with very swiftly by the assistant that took care of it and just politely said, "We can't talk about that kind of stuff." And it took a couple of times to say it, but it did get taken care of. So don't be afraid to say it. You have the ability, you have the permission, just make sure that they're abiding by the rules. And if they don't want to, get a hold of your bus leader, and if the bus leader, it still continues, get a hold of me and I'll take care of the situation. I will do it with as much grace as I can muster, but I am not going to be pushed around by someone that's not following and abiding by the rules that we have set. And like Mark says, we can get you on a plane at your cost. We'll make the arrangements, you'll pay for it, and you can go home.
We have your credit card number.
That's it. Okay, hotel and restaurant operations, room assignments for the first night will be given to the bus leader as we arrive to the hotel. This is fluid sometimes. We have had, and again, we're a rolling convention. You can have a convention that you have 500 people at and they roll in 20 at a time. The front desk is pretty okay with that. We roll in with 11 Wisconsin Badger coach buses with 419 people, and they're all standing there wanting their room keys. Completely different scenario, right? So we've gotten it to a point where it's tolerable. But again, you got to understand the front desk is trying their best to get all the keys done before we get there. Each door is going to have a door hanger that's hung on the outside of the door. That door hanger is going to have the veteran's number on it. It's going to have A for assistance, BL for bus leader, or a V for veteran. So we can walk by that door if we're looking for someone, and for whatever reason we can't find them on a list. We can identify what the bus number or what the veteran's number is, match that to a list so we know who it is and what they are on the trip. You guys will hang those on the door when you take the veteran up, and it's your responsibility to collect that in Dayton when we leave in the morning, so you can hang it in Alexandria on their door, because the information isn't going to change, just going to be at a different hotel. There we go. Did that. Assistants need to take the veterans to their room the first night at each hotel. Make sure the luggage is correct, and I've gone over this. Make sure they have all their medications. Go over that card with them. Make sure that they have everything that's on that card, and remind them what time they have to get up in the morning, what time is breakfast, and what time are we leaving. Don't worry about, usually you don't have to worry about getting them up for breakfast. I try to get down there at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's always one guy sitting there. Sheila, am I wrong? They're standing there waiting for the coffee to make itself. It's amazing. You cannot beat these guys out of bed. It's impossible.
And it's an hour after they finish your last brandy old fashioned.
Yeah. All right, 02, yep. We went through this with the card. Remember, and the deadbolt thing is very, very important. You know, we don't want, when people of this age or this condition, now these are probably the youngest group that we've had, but they also are Vietnam vets, and they had more of the chemical stuff. So the Agent Orange and their bodies have taken a big toll at a very young age. So we have to be cognizant of their condition. And if time is of the essence, if there's an emergency in that room, we got to get in. An example, guys on the floor happens to be able to call the front desk, I need help, but his roommate isn't in there, and he's got the deadbolt thrown and that little flapper thing across the door. He can't get up. We got to get in there. So the deadbolt can't be used, in that ball thingy, the little flapper, we can't use that either. And they got to understand that, you know, and if you got to look at them and say, it's in your best interest that you don't, however you have to say it. Here's our sidewalks again. When we're at the monuments, again, guard the curbs, and you'll see at all of the monuments, there's some of the curbs that aren't the curb, but it's the rounded ones. Those are just as dangerous because they don't step down square. They step down, now they roll their ankle, then they fall over. So again, the curbs are a very, very big thing. Mark says this a lot. Watch for signs of distress or health issues. And like I said, I don't know if it was this group or the last group, when they go, some of them kind of go in a glide path. They're getting tired, but some of them will crash. Don't drink enough. They get tired really quick. You get to those monuments, it's hot. It's hot. The worst one is the Vietnam Wall, because it's nothing but dark granite. Okay, and if you're not drinking enough water, and these guys especially, because they're frail, a lot of them, if you don't pump water into them, they're going to fall really quick. They're just going to deteriorate. Again, we go out into the monuments, we clear all the wheelchairs out of the buses. Take them all. Take them all, because if they don't have a need for one now, they might in the hour and a half that we're walking around the Vietnam Wall. So make sure that we always take enough wheelchairs. If you see an issue out in the field, somebody's falling fast, they don't look good, they're not talking right, look around. Anybody that's got a red, an orange shirt on, we all have radios. All you have to do is get to one of us. We will make a call on the radio, and we'll have 6 medics there in 30 seconds because they're scattered all over the place. We got 60 of them. 30 of them.
Probably 60.
Well,
official.
actually, we got 30 official, but there's a lot of assistants that are not on the medical team, but are RNs, that are nurses, that are EMTs. We got a couple nurse practitioners that aren't on the medical team that are assistants. We got the best care anywhere, literally. I would take the care that we have on this trip and put it up against anything in an ER, minus some of the ER equipment you might need if you're in distress that way. But for normal heat, just injuries and illness, we have the best. And I'm not just saying that, I truly believe that. So if you see anything, report it to a member, that guy that has a radio. Have your veterans back again to the bus because we got to be on time. We're at the monuments now. We're 2/3 of the way through the trip. We're getting about ready to go back. Dinner is served and the meal is hot at a certain time. And crazy as that sounds, you're gonna have guys. Well, this is cold. What the heck? We want to make sure that we're on time. So if we're departing this monument at this time, be there at least 10 minutes before. And the reason I say 10 is now they're getting tired. They don't climb those stairs to get on that bus as fast as they did at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And they're not paying attention when they're trying to take roll call on the bus. They're off back in their area of service thinking about what they just saw. So we have to make sure that we get them on the bus and get ready to run. We do not roll until every person is accounted for. There is an exception. We had a guy at one point about 8 or 10 years ago decided at World War II that he wanted to get in a cab and he wanted to go downtown. I'm on vacation. Yep. Well, we were fortunate that we caught him before he got in the cab. But we do have, and I'm not going to get into it, we do have an SOG that's wrapped around Lionel on how we would handle that. But the Lionel clause, yeah. But again, expect anything and don't be afraid to say I got a problem, even if you think it's just off the wall. We'll figure it out. Yep. Yeah. So we don't roll the buses until everybody is accounted for. And if we have a special instance like that, we will leave people behind that will talk to the park police, and we've figured out how to get that done. Lunch in DC is going to be a box lunch that's going to be provided while the guests are on the bus. The last few years we've been fortunate. Last year was a little bit different, but the lunches are delivered to us and we pass them out. They're box lunch. We use a deli in DC that the Sammys are really good. The food is food is really good, but it's really kind of cool. I don't know how it's going to work this year, if we're going to be in the park or if we're going to be right behind the Lincoln Memorial. Up to last year, I think we were behind the Lincoln for 3 years in a row, and it was a nice day. So people got back to the bus. We're passing out box lunches, and there's a wall about that high behind the Lincoln Memorial. Everybody's sitting on the wall in the sun or in the wheelchairs, all lined up along the wall, and it's really cool. And that's where these guys are doing this. That's part of that closure thing that we're looking for. And when you see it, however it plays out, just stand back and look at it, because I'll guarantee you will never forget the feeling that you have when you see that. It's just amazing. Let's see. We'll collect the garbage. We'll walk around with garbage bags and then we'll leave that area cleaner than it was when we got there. That again is another thing that we do. We try to leave things better than we found them. So if we're cleaning up garbage anywhere, wherever it happens to be, if you see something on the ground, pick it up, throw it out. And in this case, at the wall, we'll put all the garbage underneath the bus. There's plenty of room for it because we don't have luggage there. We get to the hotel and then you might be assigned garbage duty. All right. Here's where I can be a bit of a pain in the drain. Safety is one of the things that we're not going to stop safety. If you got an issue with something that doesn't look right, you tell a bus leader, they get a hold of me, we're going to make a decision. Is it something we can or cannot do? One of the biggest things you will see in one of the truck stops in Breezewood, Pennsylvania, we pull in to get fuel and to dump toilets. This place is, sometimes it's not bad. Usually it's a madhouse. It's a huge truck stop with probably, I don't know, probably 6 islands for just the gas, and then the diesel stuff is in the back. But there are cars going in and out of this place. Some of the veterans love it because there's a Baskin Robbins in there, and all old guys like ice cream. So they're going to go in there and they're going to walk in. You'll see the veteran assistants that have been here before. But what we do is we get the buses parked in line as best as we can. We do not let anybody off of the buses until TJ in bus 10 says that their brakes are locked, period. And Breezewood is why. Because there are cars going back and forth, in and out, and some of them, they're not looking for anything but how to get out. They're not paying attention. And there's sometimes we've been there, and there's 8th grade kids that are going to the monuments, and there's buses everywhere. And these kids, God bless kids, but some of them are the most disrespectful. They don't care. They just walk. It doesn't matter. What we do is we set up a perimeter from the front of the buses. We'll have assistants lined up side by side all the way into the building to make sure that our veterans are inside of this, outside of all the cars that are going in and out like it's a NASCAR pit stop. And it has worked very well. Every now and then, however, we have people that aren't patient with our veterans who are in wheelchairs and walkers, and they'll take their car and they'll edge up to the assistants that are lined up, and they get all hacked off. I don't care. You can wait 3 minutes while this veteran who's made it possible for you to be a dope, you're gonna wait for this individual. You know, so safety is nothing that we're gonna play with. Assistants will always get off the bus first. Always. And the reason for that is if a guy needs a ride in a wheelchair, we got to get him out before they get down on the ground, right? So your bus leader is going to stand up on the top, have somebody down below, because by day 3, some of these guys, hell, I can't even get out of the bus without holding onto a handrail, okay? So we're going to make sure that they are going down the steps and make sure that they have nothing in their hands. They're on a handrail, and our medical staff has gait belts. If someone really, really has mobility problems, we'll put a gait belt on them, and we'll hold on to that and literally walk. Yeah, I knew somebody was going to do that, but we will walk them down the steps and make sure that they get down there. And again, down on the bottom, we might have someone with hand sanitizer.
So the veterans in their minds are still in their 20s, and they want to race off. You know, they just almost want to launch off that bottom step, and you got to be ready for that too.
Okay, I've been through this, but I want to go through it again. They got to go to the bathroom, one in front, one in back, no exceptions. And you're going to get a little bit lackadaisical as the trip goes on. First day of the trip, everybody's doing the right thing. You guys are going to get tired too. You will get tired. Lack of sleep. You sitting on a bus for 6 or 8 hours a day. You just get, I'm tired. Someone has to go to the bathroom. We absolutely have to be in front and back. Again, required to sit in the restroom. We're gonna disinfect the heck out of them. You can add as much as you would like.
Everybody, keeping reason. It's like everybody wants to do the right thing. You got it. Veteran gets up, goes to the bathroom, you get 2 assistants. So the first assistant next to him jumps up. But you also gotta look at assistants. Some of these guys are big guys. Some of them, I'm not the biggest, I can hold my own, but you have a assistant, whoever may be 100 pounds.
Might not be what to say in a bathroom conversation.
Or I'll be, yeah, there's plenty of them out there. But, that assistant's doing the right thing, she wants to get up, but if there's other systems around there, that's maybe more capable, look at the veterans you're assisting, because if something would happen, that assistant can be just as hurt as that veteran, because they can't handle the weight or whatever.
Yep.
We're always trying to use, I don't know if that's enough, like 3 points of contact whenever possible.
Mhm.
You know, you want to have at least one hand on one of the handrails, even as you're moving.
Yep.
You know, in case it goes.
Straw, same thing if they need to get up and stretch.
Yes. See, in that,
Just that.
right. And again, medical is going to be more in charge of that. But that is a good point. If your veteran is getting kind of antsy in the seat, ask them if they want to get up. Ask them if they need to stretch a little bit. You know, Steve.
A lot of these guys are gonna have their socks, the protection socks, they're not gonna wear them, they're not gonna remember to put them on. Have them wear them on Wednesday if they have them, remind them to put them on.
Yep.
It's a lot of sitting, we're gonna get people who just wanna stand for a second, so kind of huddle around them. Let them lead it, but also medical, you're gonna get to know your veterans, and we're gonna know who needs to stand up and who doesn't.
Yep.
Some of the guys who have an issue and they gotta pee more often, are gonna be want to be towards the bathroom. Let them do that, move people around if you have to. They're cognizant of their not wanting to get up to pee, so they're not gonna drink, they're gonna get dehydrated. Push water, push water, push water. We'll happily get up with them 17 times,
Mhm.
so they can pee, so they don't get dehydrated.
Yep.
So they get dehydrated, they get sick,
Big cycle.
they get
Yep.
sick. So encourage their socks if they have them, they just need to get up and move around and take a walk back and forth. That's okay, well, we're there for that, especially on Wednesday.
Thanks, Steve.
While we're doing all this, we have to protect their dignity also.
Absolutely.
So some of the guys can get a little grumbly about always having somebody in front, make a joke about it, tell them it's for their safety, tell them you're gonna get fired if you don't do it, whatever, but these are grown men who deserve our respect and we have to protect their dignity while we're protecting them also.
I just-
Caregivers, not babysitters.
Right. I just tell them I don't want to deal with the paperwork. I got a joke about that, but I'm not going there.
Another thing to think about is
Oh.
when you're moving and we have the assistance in front and back, when you see that somebody's in that center aisle, I always look forward and watch the road. So if I see something coming where our bus driver is going to brake, we yell, hold on.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so then everybody will help, hold on to the people walking by them, the other assistants, and they're able to grab on and know,
Yep.
we're gonna be stopping here. quickly.
Yeah, be cognizant of what's going on around you. Yeah, no, good point.
It's hard stops.
Oh yeah, we've had some really close. We've had buses that were changing lanes because traffic had done something very stupid. These drivers are really good. I mean, they are the best. And I am a bus driver, and some of the stuff that these guys can do with those buses is absolutely amazing. And we've dove in off onto the side into other lanes, and we had 4 buses that had to do that at one time just to keep from piling into each other. And it was, and all right, well, that's over, and it's like nothing ever happened there. But again, to Jen's point, just be cognizant of what's going on. If someone keep their eye on the road ahead, just to make sure that they understand what's coming. I think I mentioned this. Take a look at the wheelchair safety video. I mean, there's a lot of good information on there. Oh, you need one?
Just
Oh, no.
demonstrate. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I do.
When you put a veteran in a wheelchair, the biggest thing that you need to do, is make sure those brakes are locked. Okay. The last thing you want is a veteran to be halfway down the mountain with his arms on the handles, and all of a sudden it goes out from under him. Okay. Swing. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Hopefully, and I know some of you have watched our wheelchair safety video, and it's always a good refresher, but one of the A lot of pet peeves. I'm full of pet peeves all the time. One is microphones, right? You can hear me. Oh, that's for the broadcast.
Be calm.
Really well.
Technology is wonderful.
Got it. Thank you. All right. With the wheelchairs, now we have, these are an 18-inch chair. There's a 20 and a 24, I think is the bigger ones, bariatric chairs. But they all operate the same. And on the video, we go through it. But as Mark was starting to say, no one gets in or out of a wheelchair without both brakes locked. Okay. And the biggest thing is these foot pads. I don't know, you guys, I know can't see it, but these foot pads are such a fall hazard. So, and it's real simple. When they stop, you flip them up and you just hit the little lever there. You flip those out of the way. That's when they get out of the chair and that's when they get back into the chair. Do not allow people to step over those foot pads or they're going down. They get their feet caught in them and they're not thinking about it. You know, again, they think they're still 20 years old, but they're not. And then in the video, it goes over the proper way to go onto a curb or to come down, you know, inclines and things like that. But I don't know why we just seem to forget. Make sure these things are locked when they go in, when they come out, and make sure those foot pads are swung out of the way. Otherwise, bad things could happen, and we don't want that. So. Go ahead, Margaret.
Okay, and as they are landing in that chair, make sure that that you're behind the chair, your feet are shoulder width apart. Make sure your hands are on the back of the chair, on the handrest. Once they're seated again, move the arm, the footrest in, put the platforms down for their feet, release the brakes and move at a safe speed. Now, safe is a very relative term. Are you on gravel? Are you going up a hill? Are you going down a hill? Are you on granite at World War II? Are you on a sidewalk that's under construction? Use your best judgment. The biggest thing when you're pushing a wheelchair just out in the world, make sure you're looking at the road base that you're going over. You got a crack in the concrete and you're this much lower than the next section. You can't just drive them and it's going to hit that and you're going to dump them out. Best thing to do, the safest way is to turn it around, pull that wheelchair backwards until the little wheels are over, turn it around and then proceed.
Even the cutouts in the curb.
Some of those, yeah.
You gotta watch. We had a paramedic dump the vet out of the wheelchair one year.
Going in and out of a room or an elevator, pull the wheelchair through the door or into the elevator. Some of those seams between the elevator and the hallway can be pretty wide. The wheels on the wheelchairs in the front are smaller. They're going to get in that seam. And again, the possibility is that you dump that veteran out. Or if you're trying to turn the wheelchair into the elevator and that wheel is sideways, it goes right in that crack and then they'll tip right out. So pull yourself into the elevator.
Mark, another thing, at crosswalks, the round bumps that are there for the visually impaired, those can be hard to get wheelchairs over sometimes too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, use your judgment going up and down ramps. I mean, if it's a little ramp and it's not much of an incline, you could probably push them down. But we get to Cefalos for lunch on Monday. That is probably a 15-degree incline. That one, you have to back down, because if you let go, that boy's going all the way to the freeway. It's that steep, and someone could get hurt. Get to a curb, back the guest down, big wheels first, small wheels second, back up a little bit, turn around and go. If you're going up, you pull them up. get on a sidewalk, turn around and go. Here's another one that is very, very, very important. Social media is a great thing. We cannot, absolutely cannot say on FaceSpace or whatever you're using, we cannot say, we're going here next. We are a soft target. In this politically divided atmosphere that we're in, some group may think it's a great thing to take out a bunch of Korean, Vietnam, and World War II veterans. Okay? We don't want them to know where we're going. Absolutely do not want them to know where we're going. They can have all the fun they want where we've been. It's too late by then. We cannot talk about it on social media. Not even absolutely no social media as far as the trip is concerned if you're talking about where we're going. Don't even tell them we're going to DC. Everything is in the past tense and only where we've been. We have very, very strict information release policies. There's 4 or 5 people on the trip that have the right and responsibility to release any information to the public. Okay? Ultimately, this man is going to be the mouthpiece for the organization because he is the president. He is the one that's going to be releasing that information. In the event that he is the one that is incapacitated, well, then someone else will do it.
Code for bathroom.
Come on, Mark. Issue we have is if, say, we have a mother, someone's out on a trip and mom is at home, and this individual is on bus number 1. Bus number 1 gets in an accident. Someone on that bus goes, "Hey, Mom, we were just in an accident." Mom goes on social media and says, "Well, Vets Row Bus 1 was just in an accident, and it's on some group chat. And now everybody that's on that group, well, what happened? What's going on?" It spreads like wildfire. It really, really does. And how would you like to find out that your family member was the one that had the incident and is on the way to the hospital? How would you like to find out on Facebook? It's not a way to find out that one of your family members is in distress. And I will go over this with the veterans at veterans orientation, because some of those old guys, they're really good at it. But we've had discussions about this with past trips, and they're also really good at following orders because that's what they were trained to do back in the day. Okay. But for this group, social media is in no way a part of how we're going to communicate when something bad happens. That's up to the board. That's up to the public information officers and the management of vets roles. And there is no exception. If we find out that information got leaked, we'll find out who it was and we'll take appropriate action.
Case in point, from a few years ago, we were in Pennsylvania, we were stopped just before we carry a spare bus. I don't know if you knew that or not. There's 10 occupied buses, the 11th bus is a spare. Before we did that though, we had an issue out in Pennsylvania, and so we had to hold a bus back we split everybody up among the other buses is what we did, so we keep going. And somebody posted on their Facebook page or whatever, that instance of Pennsylvania, and they're calling in another bus or something like that. It was because we had a leaky water pump on one of the buses, so we had to keep it back. But all the keyboard warriors, all of a sudden they're playing detective, and it just started just like that, just like a fungus. It started getting out there, somebody's, medical emergency, the accident or something. So, stay off the phones, enjoy the vets.
Yep. We have a lot of guidelines. We call them SOGs. We have guidelines for just about everything that we can think of. Emergencies, bus accidents, bus fires, medical emergencies. We had a medical emergency last year that an individual got sick, pulled a bus over, pulled a chase vehicle over, happened to be where they ended up pulling off. The fire station was 2 minutes away from where the bus pulled off. We got the individual medical care. I would venture to guess that 3/4 of the population on the rest of the trip had no idea that anything happened. We try our best to have every situation figured out. And we're not perfect by any means, but boy, we're a whole lot better than we were about 10 years ago. It's one of those things that by newer people coming in, by our younger people coming in, we're able to generate new ideas, different thought processes, and that's what's going to make this organization flourish. Just a couple more things. I have some numbers here that I forgot to share with the last group. Of the 108 assistants, now we have more assistants than that, but they're broken into different groups. Of the 108 assistants that are on this trip, in total, they've been on 354 trips, those 108 people. Of the 60 medical team members, there's 131 trips between all those members. And of the 20 bus leaders, and this one and I had to go back and recount it 3 times and took my shoes off a couple times when I counted. Of the 20 bus leaders that are on a trip, we collectively have 182 trips. There is a lot of experience on this trip. So being new people, don't be afraid to ask a question. Don't be afraid to ask. There is no stupid question. Because if you don't know and you have a concern, your concern isn't answered if you don't ask the question. And we're all here to help. I like to have fun, as you can tell. I'm not one that's I can be. Comes to safety, I can be. But when it comes to enjoying this trip, you guys have to enjoy it in order for the veterans to enjoy it, right? So don't be too serious. If you make a mistake, did anybody die? Anybody go to the hospital? Did anybody get sick? If the answer to those questions are no, okay, learn the lesson, let's move on. I did. I've made more mistakes just standing here than I'm willing to tell you. But have fun, because if you don't, the veterans don't. It's not a vacation.
Want to introduce the ones that are here, or of those bus leaders?
Okay.
Oh, you did earlier?
Yeah, earlier.
Oh, okay.
No, not here. That was the last one. That one was the board members. Bus leaders, start on that side of the room and stand up and introduce yourself. Yeah, David.
Dave Black, bus 3. How many trips? 10 trips.
PJ, bus 10, 14 trips.
Pyramid bus stand used to be my night. Martha Johnson, bus 10, my left.
Guy 3, bus 7, my ninth trip.
Stuart Dunbar, bus 7, 13. Jim Falls, bus
That's
2, 9th trip.
Jenny Johnson, bus 6.
You're not standing up.
Jack Forrest, bus 6,
Lindsay with I.
Ethan.
Seeing as though you complained, I'll never change it.
That'll be my alter ego.
No,
Perfect.
Lindsay said bus 4.
And I got 13. I'm on my 13th, so. 17.
Mothership.
Okay, final thought. Remember, it's not a vacation. They're going to be long hours, and you potentially are going to miss some meals. But it's all about the veteran. We got snacks on the bus. We can feed and water you on the bus. There's plenty, and we take stuff home with us. Lack of sleep, the work and the duties are a small sacrifice compared to what the veterans have given to us. It's the best job that you pay to do, and it's up to us to give them a trip of a lifetime. So with that, thank you very much for your attention. And I have a special Jennifer.
I'm gonna be up here. If you have a check or a credit card, I will take it. Otherwise, you could do Venmo or PayPal, but.
And if you don't do it today,
Today.
if you don't do it today and you use a credit card after this, she will keep the credit card.
I want to do something here too. If you gotta get going, that's fine, but since most of you are first and second year assistants, you still kind of wonder what it looks like when you go down the road. So I've got a handful of real short videos that we'll show you here. It'll give you a better feel of what the impact is and the sightline is.
One thing real quick, everyone will be provided shirts.